Okay, we're really sorry for the delay. Now I think we are good to go. So now we'll be starting with the live session for today. Hi everyone, this is Manish Nath from Hex-Star Universe, and I am going to be your host for today's session. First of all, thank you everyone for joining us today. Now, our topic for today's session is how to help scientists through citizen science projects. And to enrich us on this topic, today we have none other than Dr. Himadri Sekhar Das. He is an associate professor in the Department of Physics at Assam University, Silchar, and a team leader at Astrogen, which is a citizen science forum. We are really glad to have him here with us today. So without any further ado, I'd like to request Himadri sir to proceed with today's session. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. So let me share the screen.
Sure, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
And what about the screen?
Yes, sir. The screen is also visible.
Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, I'd like to thank Hex-Star Universe and especially Shobhan Acharya, who is also associated with SS Citizen Science Forum, for inviting me to deliver a lecture in this evening. And I'm very happy to be a part of this particular session. So before going to that discussion, let me tell you that I'm a faculty member of Assam University Silchar. And in our university, particularly in MSc level, we have astrophysics as special subject is there. So students from different corners of the country come to our university for doing research in astronomy and astrophysics. And we are actively engaged in study of star, then star formation process, study of comets, asteroids, light scattering experiments. All these jobs are going on at our university. Actually, I joined to this citizen science projects first in the month of March this year when I got contact of Mr. Shobhan Acharya, who is team leader of SS Citizen Science Lab and Forum. And then I came to know about the different activities of the citizen science projects. So basically, I was in the southern part of Assam. Silchar is there, a small town, and where we are actually for last few years, couple of years, we are doing some science population program. And also students come to our university for some projects and all these things. Then I thought maybe if we can involve some this type of projects to students, then they will get interest and we can engage some students in astronomy. That's why I got interest in this citizen science projects. Further, because I'm also doing research in comets, asteroids, and star formation for last couple of years, more than 20 years. I'm doing research in that field. And I came to know that many times the citizen scientists are helping us in many ways. Then I thought, why don't we actually involve the people of our locality so that we can start a citizen science group. And then I talked with Shobhan sir, and he told me that, yeah, why not? We can start with this asteroid search campaign. And then the journey of Astrogen started in March 2022. And because actually I am associated with research, then I know what are our requirements from the citizen scientists. That's why I thought when Shobhana approached to me for this talk, and I thought, why don't we talk how one can actually help scientists or researcher to citizen science projects. That's why I selected this topic. topic for discussion. So if you have any query, anything, you can ask me in between the talk or maybe after the talk. It is not an issue. I'll try to focus almost all the areas, but you know that I'm just limited to astronomy, but I'm trying to speak on different aspects of citizen science projects. So let us try with this particular discussion. So citizen science is the practice of involving non-scientists in practical, meaningful scientific research projects. The best known examples of citizen science include asteroid hunting, planet hunting, bird observations, and weather tracking. But remember, these are only the tip of the iceberg. Citizen science has been popular for well over a century, but in recent years, the internet has revolutionized scientists' ability to reach out to and engage citizen scientists in a huge area of research projects. During the COVID pandemic period, particularly in the year 2020, you can remember, people were locked in the room, but that time, citizens around the world participated in various citizen science projects. An input from citizen scientists is crucial in certain forms of research. Without their participation, many projects would be impractical or even impossible. It is important to note that citizen science is different from amateur research. This is very, very important. At the beginning, I'm telling this, that citizen science is different from amateur research. For example, suppose a dinosaur enthusiast may spend a great deal of time and efforts finding, identifying, and collecting fossils. But if their work is not connected to a large research study run by a professional science organization, it is not considered citizen science. So, in case of citizen science projects, either professional scientists or professional science organization should be there. Means there should be collaboration with scientists as well as this citizen science organization. So you can see in this cover page, one object is moving, and this is one of the popular citizen science projects I told earlier. That this is the asteroid search campaign, and where you can see all the stars are fixed in the background, and only this particular asteroid is moving. And citizen scientists are doing a tremendous job for last couple of years to detect this asteroid, this type of asteroids. So, first of all, if you want to know what is basically citizen science, the tagline is research at home. Citizen science. You can do research in home, and you don't need sufficient instrument to carry out the research. So the tagline is research at home, citizen science. Now, before going to the deep discussion, what is the actual meaning or what is the actual definition of this citizen science? As per Oxford Dictionary, citizen science is defined as scientific work undertaken by the members of the general public, often in collaboration with or under the direction of professional scientists and scientific institutions. That's why I'm telling you, suppose you are doing your own work and you have no connection with professional scientists or scientific institution, then it is not a citizen science projects. So this is very, very important. Whenever you are doing any citizen science projects, that should be collaborated with professional scientists as well as scientific institutions. And these are actually described as voluntary engagement of the public who involve themselves in the scientific projects of various disciplines like astronomy, biodiversity, history, natural history, out of their personal scientific interest. Scientific interest is very, very important because without your scientific interest in a particular topic, you cannot proceed further. And for information, I'm telling you, the first known modern citizen science project, this modern citizen science project was published in 1994 by Alan Irwin. What was the topic? The topic is social management of environmental change. It was published in the journal. Remember, whenever any scientific work is done, it is generally published in a journal, okay, scientific journal, and in that journal, basically these works are published, and once the work is published, it means it got recognition. So that was first done by Alan Irwin. Now the question automatically arises in our mind: who will be the citizen scientist? Okay, so anyone can do citizen science. You don't have to be a citizen of any particular place in order to be a citizen scientist. And the main interesting point is that you don't need a science degree or any degree to become a citizen scientist. Because this scientist term, whenever it appears, we have always in our mind that if I want to become a scientist, then I have to know many things. We should have a degree, all these things. But remember, in case of citizen science, this is not there. Okay, anyone can participate. Even with the age of 6, 7, the students can participate. We have one student from our area. Her age was 11, one girl student. She actually detected 2 asteroids. So the student who is actually have the ability to understand the particular topic, he can join in citizen science. But then there is no age limit and there is no professional barrier. Anyone can join. So now, before going too deep into the subject, let me tell you something about the history of citizen science. So obviously, in your mind, it may arise when citizen science started. The first citizen scientist, as per the record, the first true citizen science project was launched by American ornithologist Wayne Cook. Ornithology means the study of birds. And he is also known as the father of cooperative study of bird migration in America. So what he did actually, he actually reached to different amateurs, bird enthusiasts, who regularly watch birds, migratory birds, and he actually contacted with them and told them, if you are getting any information regarding the birds, please inform us. Because there is a government-run project was going on that time. It is North American Bird Phenology Program. And actually it started in 1901. And it lasts for 15 years. And then what happened, information was collected from the volunteers and they had given information on cards. And by this, he had collected a large database, and these cards are now still available and are scanned into a public database, and anyone can go and check. And by this particular citizen science project, this bird phenology program was started. So, as per recorded history, the first citizen science program was actually this North American Bird Phenology Program, which was started by U.S. Cook. Citizen science before the internet, you know the internet era started from 90s. But before that, citizen scientists were employed in particular fields, including stream and waterway monitoring, insects and bird conservations, observations, weather monitoring, astronomical observation of plants and wildlife. So in the case of astronomical observation, it is not possible for one person to watch the entire sky every night. So hundreds of people can do just that. So people spreading around the globe started working on different projects. And because of them, actually, these comets and other astronomical objects were discovered. If you just look at the database of comets, you'll find that the maximum comets were discovered by the amateur astronomer or citizen scientists. It is possible because the number of scientists, professional scientists, are limited. So they cannot look throughout the sky for whole night. It is not possible. So this citizen scientists took part in different activities, and they have discovered many objects.
Sir,
So,
I'm really sorry to
pardon?
disturb, sir. I'm really sorry to disturb, sir. Are
Yeah,
you changing the slides because it is still in the first slide, the
is
presentation?
it? Oh, now can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then better I can just go from this particular. Now is it visible, no?
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Okay, thank you. I'm very sorry because it was stick to a particular slide. So the main history of citizen science actually started. So these are citizen scientists of history. So Anna Atkins, she is an English botanist who laid the groundwork for scientific books illustrated with photography. Photography was very important part of any book. If you read any textbook, magazine, newspaper, everywhere, photography is very, very important. And Anna Atkins, what she did, she created cyanotypes. So basically, these are images made by placing objects directly onto light-sensitive paper. Okay, and by this, she had taken the photographs of plants and algae. She was studying in the form of beautiful silhouettes that provided a detailed and accurate representation of their form. And this is the first example of a book that uses photographs as illustration. So she was one of the pioneer citizen scientists in 19th century. Next is, you might have heard that Uranus, the planet Uranus was discovered by William Herschel in 1781 with his telescope. So actually the planets up to Jupiter, then Saturn, all these are visible. But after that, you cannot see any planets because they're far away from you and it is not visible with the unaided eye. So Herschel actually constructed his own telescope and then he discovered this planet Uranus. Okay, but let me tell you, he was not a professional astronomer, but he was a musician. His family was also, his father was also a musician. But from that background, he came to astronomy because he loved astronomy. And he also used to study Mars, double star, star cluster, the big sky objects. And he also discovered two moons of Saturn. But whenever we are talking about William Herschel, we cannot forget his sister, Caroline Herschel. We call them brother sister duos. Caroline is also was also interested in astronomy, and she was a companion of his brother William. She catalogued observation, polished telescope mirrors, and organized Herschel's notes. She also made astronomical discovery of her own, especially comets. One periodic comet is there, 32P comet. That comet was also discovered by Caroline. Then she also made discovery of some other comets. At least she found 8 comets along with nebulae. The interesting part is that she also discovered an independent discovery of M110, a companion of the Andromeda galaxy. It is a galaxy which is companion to the Andromeda galaxy. And she is the first woman to be awarded a gold medal by the British Royal Astronomical Society. Just imagine that time, the status of women in the society was not so dignified position was not there for women, but she had earned a gold medal by the British Royal Astronomical Society. Thomas Bock. Actually, in the 1996, I was doing my graduation. And that time, what happened? One comet was very bright comet was visible within the Kedai. And the name of that comet was Hale-Bopp. Okay. And that time, we had organized night sky observation in our college because I can see one telescope was lying in the storeroom for many years. I heard from my teachers that during when Comet Halley appeared in 1986, then there are some projects by Dept of India, and they actually distributed some telescopes to different colleges. But that telescope were not regularly used by the departments, and then I approached our HOD that why don't you organize a night sky beam program? Because nowadays this comet Hale-Bopp is on the sky, and we can see that with the help of this telescope. And then we had observed that particular comet Hale-Bopp, and during that period, another comet, bright comet, was visible. That comet was comet Hyakutake. Hyakutake was actually discovered by another citizen scientist, or you can say amateur astronomer Hyakutake. He is from Japan. So that time, looking at these two comets, I was very much interested in comet research, and finally, I started my research in comets, and I have been awarded PhD in studying the comets. So comet was my research topic in my PhD. Okay, so how did that comet got this designation? Because whenever any person discovers the comet, it bears his name. Those who will report the first, it depends on them. So if you are actually looking at the night sky and have detected a comet, then immediately you have to report to international organization is there, ICQ. So if you report there, then if they find that yeah, it is okay, your detection is correct, then you will be given an opportunity to give the name of that particular comet. So the same comet was on the same night observed by two astronomers, Alan Hale and Thomas Bock. Alan Hale was a astronomer. Finally, looking at the telescope at the globular cluster M7, he found a patch of light. Okay, in one side, fuzzy patch of light, and then he reported to this cometary ICQ. Comet recognition is there, and then finally, both of them got recognition to discover. He was so much interested in this work. Later, he left the job. Thomas Bock, he left the job, and he was totally, actually, he was totally engaged with different popular science programs in future, like TV program, then like sky beam program. He was so impressed. I think Comet Hale-Bopp is one of the brightest comet observed. So, how to get involved with city science? Answer one by one. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. We can see
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Because some animations are there, that's why I have again this big screen. So before getting to How to get involved with citizen science? Before getting started, ask yourself these questions. I think some of you are citizen scientists or some are newcomers who are interested in citizen science. But before going to any citizen science project, you have to ask yourself some questions. If you are satisfied or if you are answering these questions well, then remember you are ready to start a new citizen science project. The question number one is, which area of science interests you? Are you interested in animals, waterways, stars, medicine, climate change, plants? You have to find out your interest. Point number two is very, very important because you have to know how much time do you want to dedicate to citizen science. Because whenever the study of science is coming or research is coming, suppose if you consider my case, because I'm a faculty member of a university, research is our primarily we have to do the research because we have research scholars. They won't do the research. So it is a part of our daily life. But some people, they have different jobs. Like them are busy business, some of them are students, some of them are even going to some other jobs, private jobs. So that's why it's very important for you to know how much time do you want to dedicate to science. Some projects require well involvement of months or even. Next is how sciencey do you want to get? Some projects need training, well, others can be completely simple process. So remember, your skill is important. You have to find out. Suppose you are technologically very smart, then you can choose some projects which is very smart with the technology. But if you are not liking the technology part, then you have to choose the project, citizen science projects, which are actually comfortable with your choice. Next is what kind of activity interests you. The range of options is huge, as I told in the beginning. You can review historical science documents, scan the skies for comets, test the water in your local pond. This is also a citizen science project, remember. Very small projects are there. You cannot imagine that you can make this citizen science projects. Identify birds in your neighborhood. If you're looking at your nature, then you'll find that some birds are coming in a particular season. If you can spot them, then this will be also a citizen science project. And also you can run your own weather station. You don't need many instruments. If you measure temperature regularly, every day, if you are maintaining the temperature and the humidity, then you can make your own weather station and you can report it that in my locality this is the temperature and this is the humidity. Then you can also report to Citizen Science Forum weather station. You can report. You have your own local station. So that depends on you how you can actually involve yourself. Next is very important. Do you want to work online or in the real world? Both options are open. There are plenty of remote online citizen science opportunities available. And as I told you, during the pandemic period, people were sitting or locked in the room and they don't have any options to go outside. Only through this internet, people are connected. Okay, so cyber world was open and people are connecting. So that time, this online projects became very popular. Can you see this screen? Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. And next is what kind of organization interests you? This is very important because at the beginning you will not understand. And at the beginning, normally we go to any citizen science projects to start. But It is very, very important to understand that what organization interests me. So you can do citizen science for research centers, non-profit organization like National Geographic. I think you might have heard about National Geographic channel. One channel is there. And the Smithsonian. These are very famous organizations. These are based in USA. Or joint federal agency like the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Next is, do you want to stay local or do you want to be part of an international research group? So that is very, very important because I'll tell you, some international projects are there as well as some local projects are there. So you have to think on this. So once you have answered all those questions, you can use an interactive citizen science database to find the opportunity that's right here. If you could answer almost all the questions to yourself, then fine, you are ready for a citizen science. And then citizen science database is open to you. And now I will tell you where to go and how you can engage yourself. So these are some citizen science projects which are running by different organizations. Number one is Science SciStarter. SciStarter is very famous. If you just visit on the Google, you just type SciStarter, then you will find more than 3,000 projects are there. So you can just go to a particular project and can select, and all the information related to that project is there. And you can even contact with the person who is dealing with that project. Another project is very famous website is Universe. So here almost 100 projects are there, and particularly the popular one was start classifying galaxies. These are still going on. Then finding help forests or locating homes in rural Africa in minutes. So these are some of the projects going on in Universe. And in National Geography, if you visit that particular website, you will find, did you know, snapping mountaintop photos of smog and missile pollution frog calls help scientists? Yes. If you study frog, these are very important study. You can also help scientists. So many projects are there in National Geographic also you can engage yourself. Similarly, Smithsonian is also doing some work in Encyclopedia of Life, then transcribe field notes of notable scientists or contribute to climate research. Climate research is nowadays very, very important because of the climate is changed throughout the world. So nowadays, this is a very burning topic of research. So you can also have professional scientists to some project related to climate research. So these are some of the popular science projects in astronomy because as a student I'm a man of astronomy. And we found that normally the students are interested in astronomy related projects in our area. So we have found out some projects. The number one is a student search campaign. At the beginning I told you. This is actually collaborated by International Astronomical Search Collaboration. In short, we call it IASC, and NASA and PenSTARS. Galaxy Cruise is another project run by National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. And this project will help you to classify the galaxy, to identify the interaction, to spot signs of collision between them, because galaxy collisions are very regular phenomenon, so you can spot it. Number three is very, very interesting as well as very popular because this question arises in our mind always: are we alone in the universe? Is there any life there beyond the solar system, or is there ET is there? ET means extraterrestrial intelligence. So, or alien life is there or not? So scientists are continuously getting the signals from different locations of the sky, radio signal particularly, and then they are trying to decode those signals, whether any ET or alien is sending us any signals or not. The next is Planet Hunters. This is another very interesting project as well, a very popular project. where you can find in that particular project you can find uh, planets beyond our solar system. Next is Galaxy Zoo. Would you be the first to see a new galaxy? You can also discover new galaxy and some other projects. And the next one is BM Martian. Means NASA had this photograph of NASA's surface of craters, mountains, and other Martian features. So there are some particular projects going on, and you can actually engage yourself to study Mars. So these are some of the projects I mentioned, but remember, there are many more projects are there in astronomy. So here I have just shared one of the most shared on SciStarter. At the beginning, I told you SciStarter is one of the famous real science projects. Good. So these are most shared on SciStarter 2020 because that time the pandemic situation was there and people were actually necessitated many such projects. So that's why this became very popular. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, thank you. I thought I'm not audible. So anyway, so basically these are the most shared citizen science projects. You can see Globate, like how it works, and Picnic, Deep Moji, nice names are there. Then Bumblebee Watch, Cardinal Capture, Public Editor. These are some of the most shared citizen science projects in 2020. Then another is most contribution on SciStarter in 2020, like Stormcatcher, SciNature list. Then you can see Blue Near You, Spiral Graph, Group Night. These are some of the contributions which are there. 20 such contributions are there. Most viewed on SciStarter is this Megaton, World Water Monitoring Challenge, Passengers in Driverless Future. So these are some of the projects which have become very popular during the pandemic. So these are science projects. What are the results? And if you visit their site, you'll find a couple of citizen science projects. And you can see Bird Count India, eBird India is there. See, in our northeast Patna area, visits our place and flies. This makes different scientists in our region. Frog watch is one of the popular because monsoon, because of monsoon in our area, and that time you can see some is another project. And the last one is road kills. It's a very nice project because I have heard that recently there was an incident in Ayurveda where one elephant was just crossing and one moving truck actually collided with that particular elephant and the elephant died. So there is a project you have to inform the citizen science organization how many wild animals actually died in road during accident. So they are making the database and they are trying to find out in which area this accident is more, so that they can actually start working on it, how to protect them. So these are some of the interesting citizen science projects going on around the India. Citizen science groups in India, particularly at the beginning, I told you yes, a citizen science group is there. Then our citizen science group, Astrogen, Ignited Mind is another. Hex-Star Universe, who is actually organizing this talk, Akash Space Organization. Many such type of citizen science forum or groups are there. They have their own Facebook page. So those who are interested in this type of citizen science projects, they can contact. But here, particularly I have mentioned, they are doing astronomy related projects. Some extraordinary citizen science discoveries. Why we should go for citizen science? What is the opportunity? What are the opportunities for a citizen scientist? Often students ask us, what is the career in the particular citizen science projects? If we do some projects, will it be helpful in our near future? Yeah. So the answer is very clear that if you do research-based citizen science project, obviously it is very good for you because in near future, if you want to involve yourself in a research project, it will help you. And whenever you go for any interview, then this activities will definitely help you because already you have started working on it. So normally we ask students to engage with those projects which are related to a deep research. Just I'm mentioning one of the incidents which occurred in 2018. One of the citizen scientists, Scott Tilley, he contacted NASA that he's tracking a spacecraft which was actually missing since 2005. Actually, NASA did not got signal, and it actually lost in the space since 2005. And after 13 years, that particular person reported to NASA, and you can see there is a photograph, the South Pole Aurora, which was photographed by that particular spacecraft. Image means imager for magnetoforce aurora global exploration. The short name is image. So it had taken many such photographs for 5 years because it was launched in 2000 and for 5 years it worked. But suddenly on December 18, it lost in the space. And NASA could not communicate with that particular spacecraft. But he finally found out through some study and he reported. Then immediately NASA Center in Greenbelt, they acquired time the Deep Space Network to focus on the source and finally found that yes, this is the spacecraft they are talking about image. And finally they collected telemetry data from the satellite and they have again the spacecraft was again actually active. So this was a tremendous development done by one of the citizen scientists. I will mention another important aspect of this citizen scientist. I told you earlier that citizens nowadays, the famous, one of the interesting as well as very popular citizen science project is discovery of exoplanets. Exoplanets are planets outside the solar system. Nowadays, many people are actually busy in discovering new, not only the professional scientists but also citizen scientists. And a system of at least 5 exoplanets was discovered in 2017 by a group of citizen scientists, and from NASA's Kepler Space Telescope. And this particular work has been published in Astronomical Journal. At the beginning, I told you that if you are discovering anything, then it is very, very important that the results should be published in a journal. And Astronomical Journal is one of the prestigious journals in astronomy. Recently, you'll be happy to know that person is also attending this talk, Mr. Shobhan Acharya. He's a citizen scientist of the Citizen Science Group and also associated with Ignited Mind. And so he also took part in Planet Factor program with a group of citizen scientists. And they have also detected exoplanets, and their contribution has been published in the Publication of the Astronomical Society of the Pacific Journal. This is another prestigious journal. Recent year, I think in the month of April 2022, he along with other citizen scientists published the work. So it means that if you are doing some work in this particular branch of astronomy, you can publish your result, and this is very good for your career. Next is discovery of comets. Discovery of comets is very, very important because, as I told you, the maximum number of comets were discovered by amateur astronomers or citizen scientists. If you go to Japan, you can see that almost all the event people actually enjoy the astronomical event, like their amateur astronomic club is very popular as well as powerful. And many amateur astronomers or citizen scientists discovered comets, and they are actually resident of Japan. Okay, so in this particular, if your that particular animation is visible to you, you can see that this is actually sun. Disk of sun is blocked by we call it coronagraph. And you can see the photograph of sun animated, and here you can see two objects are coming very close to that sun, and we call it sun grazing comet. Sun grazing comet means the comets which are coming very close to Earth, and because of the high gravitational field of sun, this comet could not come out from the sun, and ultimately it crashed into that our own star sun. I normally call them as the comets which are making suicide. So this Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, means SOHO, has been keeping an eye on the sun from space since December 2, 1995. Okay, almost for 25 years, and still it is active. And probably in 2025, the mission will be aborted. But still today it is working. It is not only provided a detailed record of solar phenomena, but also provide information regarding comets. As of late 2021, more than 4,000 comets have been found by this SOHO spacecraft. And you'll be happy to know that most of them were discovered by amateur astronomers, and they have accessed SOHO real-time data via the internet, and they started working on it, and in those citizen scientists discovered the comets. So we'll be very happy to know that citizen scientists are very active in that particular area of science. So now I'm going to give you a brief introduction of our Citizen Science Forum, because some of you may get interested in our Citizen Science Forum. But as I told you, we're very new to that particular field. We have established our group on March 28, 2022. And the main goal of the South Assam based forum is to engage citizens of this country in various projects so that they may provide real, useful, and accurate data for scientists to use. And another important goal for this particular forum is to popularize science among the common people And you can visit our Facebook page. It is just type on the Facebook Astrogen, you'll get information about our, and you'll be happy to know that we have actually participated in 3 asteroid search campaign. Okay, and we have detected more than 30 asteroids till date by our citizen scientists. But remember, these are all preliminary, not provisional, because to get the provisional result it will take some time. But already people got interest in this particular citizen science projects, and still we are working on it. So these are asteroid hunters who detected unknown objects in our group. Shobanda is also there in our group. And here you can see one girl student of age 11. She also detected 2 unknown objects or asteroids. So these are our family. Other are also there. Other citizen scientists are also there. We're actively working in this type of campaign. So these are the certificates which you will get from after the end of the campaign. And you can see here they will acknowledge for participations. And these are some of the news in our local media where they have actually congratulated us, media, for discovering this 18 asteroids by our group. So here I'll stop because the time is up to 8, and I try to finish before time at 7:59. Thank you very much. Over to the organization. Now the session is open for discussion.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful presentation. I am sure that our participants learned a lot from this session. Now, I think we can move on to our Q&A session. So participants, if you have any question, you can turn on your mic and ask your questions. Also, you can write in the chat box and I will read out the questions.
Yeah, I can see one question by DK sir Harkon. So he has asked, so one telescope has 12-inch aperture and 1500 millimeter focal length, another one has 10-inch aperture and 50,000 millimeter focal length. Which one is better for astronomer? Both matter in big sky. Please reply. Both are different. Just I'm telling you that you have to understand what is the light gathering power. Light gathering power is directly proportional to the diameter of the telescope. Bigger the diameter of the telescope, you will get the more light on your telescope, and the object size will be differ. The object size will be bigger. Okay, and this focal length you can adjust because sometimes it will come on 1500 millimeters, sometimes 20,000 millimeters. But remember always that diameter of the telescope is very, very important. Bigger the diameter of the telescope, you will get more light. Light gathering power will be high. The resolution of the telescope will be higher. So I'll suggest you to go for the bigger telescope. So Tushar Kastij has asked, can I ask my question in Hindi and voice it possible? Yes, yes, you can ask. Hindi में बोल सकते हो. Tushar, you can ask.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable reply.
आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है तुषार जी?
I'm audible, sir.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
क्या मेरे पीछे से कोई आवाज आ रही है कि बैकग्राउंड नॉइस ऐसा कुछ आ रहा है?
नहीं आ रहा.
थैंक यू. मेरे काफी सवाल है, लेकिन पहला सवाल ये है कि जैसे कि मैं ड्रॉप आउट स्टूडेंट हूँ, वैसे ही मेरे जैसे काफी सारे ड्रॉप आउट स्टूडेंट हैं, तो वो किस तरह से वो सिटीजन साइंस प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर शामिल होकर सिटीजन साइंस बन सकते हैं? ये एक फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है. दूसरा सवाल मैं बाद में पूछूंगा इसका आंसर के बाद.
मतलब आपका क्वेश्चन ये है कि आप कैसे सिटीजन साइंटिस्ट बन सकते हैं, यही ना?
हाँ, और ड्रॉप आउट स्टूडेंट है उनको भी किस तरह से ये इसमें
देखिए,
किया जाता है?
हम लोग को ड्रॉप आउट से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. कोई भी एनीवन कैन ज्वाइन, कोई ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं एज ए सिटीजन साइंटिस्ट। बट आपको क्या करना है, आपको पहले ये समझना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा ब्रांच में आप इंटरेस्टेड ज्यादा है। ठीक है, जैसे कि बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट का नाम मैंने बोला है मेरा डिस्कशन में, आपने देखा होगा। तो पहले आप वो सोच लीजिए कि कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट आपको अच्छा लग रहा है। ठीक है, अगर जो प्रोजेक्ट आपको अच्छा लग रहा है, आप उसके बारे में थोड़ा गूगल में सर्च कर सकते हैं, करके आपको मिल सकता है कौन कौन उसके साथ अटैच्ड है। ये और एक तरीका यह है कि आप पर्टिकुलर सिटीजन साइंस जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, ग्रुप है, उनको साथ भी आप बात कर सकते हैं, करके आप सिटीजन साइंस प्रोजेक्ट में आप पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, इसके लिए साइंस जानना जरूरी नहीं है, आपको साइंस का स्टूडेंट होना जरूरी नहीं है। आप आर्ट्स का स्टूडेंट हो, कॉमर्स का स्टूडेंट हो, कोई भी ब्रांच का स्टूडेंट हो, यू कैन इन्वॉल्व योरसेल्फ इन सिटीजन साइंस प्रोजेक्ट्स। ठीक है,
थैंक यू। और मेरा दूसरा सवाल है, मेरे काफी सवाल है लेकिन अभी मैंने
हाँ
ख्याल से समय का कमी हो रही है, इस वजह से क्या आप आपके ईमेल आईडी या नीडिंग आईडी या फिर ऐसे कांटेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन दे सकते हैं, ताकि आगे के आने वाले समय में भविष्य में आपसे ज्यादा मैं गाइडेंस ले सकूं। और पॉसिबल हो सकता है कि ऑर्गेनाइजर और आपका आपसे कि ये पीपीटी आपने जो बताई थी वो शेयर हो सकती है क्या, वो उससे काफी मदद मिल
हाँ,
जाएगी। मैं अभी
जरूर
मोबाइल से
मैं
थोड़ा भी।
कर सकता हूँ। मेरा ईमेल आईडी मैंने अब टाइप किया है मैसेज बॉक्स में, आप चेक कर सकते हैं। यू जस्ट सेंड अ मेल, आप एक मेल भेजिए मुझे। ठीक है, तो आपको जो डिटेल्स चाहिए यू कैन कॉन्टेक्ट। ठीक है, तो मैंने
ओके
अपना
ओके,
मेल आपके साथ शेयर कर लिया। ठीक
थैंक यू
है,
थैंक यू। क्या मैं हिंदी में ईमेल भेजूंगा तो चलेगा आपको?
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आप भेज
थैंक यू।
सकते हैं। ओके, I can see Pradeep Chakraborty is asking me a question. Can a citizen scientist write paper with a scientist? Yes, why not? You can write a paper with citizen scientist, but you have to work on a particular project. Because normally what happens, I'm just telling you one story. One student in my MSc class, he had worked with me for a project, and we got some new results and later reported to a journal. So he later did MPhil under my MPhil and PhD under my guidance, but he did his work in MS with me, and he was one of the co-author of that paper. So obviously, if you are doing any projects under a citizen, under a professional scientist or professional researcher, then obviously you can write a paper, no problem. So any other questions?
Okay, participants, I would request you to ask if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask the questions.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah, surely, sir.
Sir, my 10 years old son is very interested in astronomy, and he is very keen and very sharp to find any object in the dark sky through the manual telescope. So I want to ask that if there is a opportunity in the future as a career, if he select astronomy as a main subject.
That's a very good question because normally people ask this type of question: what is the career in astronomy? So you have many opportunities in astronomy. You'll become an astronomer. This is number one, because when you are going to study astronomy, you'll become an astronomer. You can do PhD or research in astronomy. If you are going through some regular study, you can do BSc, then MSc in astrophysics, and then finally MSc in astrophysics. Okay. Finally, if he wants to become an engineer, even he can engage himself in astronomy related projects. If he is a computer engineer, he can develop some computer programs If he's a civil engineer, he can also engage himself. So you can engage yourself. It does not matter in which branch of science you are dealing. Okay. And let me tell you, my daughter, you might have seen one photograph. My daughter is only 11 years old. Okay. She reads in class 6 and she participated in asteroid search campaign and she detected 2 asteroids. So we'll be very happy. I can see your son is there. So I'll suggest you to join in some citizen science project, asteroid search campaign, so that you can discover some new asteroids. So you're most welcome and you can join to that project.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, namaste.
Namaste. So any other question?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, may I ask some question?
Sure, sure.
Sir, can the channel make a video on how we can join on various such projects? I mean, you are searching for asteroids, and there are also a group, RGB group by Anand Hota sir, who also working in galaxy searching, etc. But sir, my interest is in sunspots and solar astronomy. So, can you provide some information about how can I join in solar physics or such projects?
Yeah, sure. Because I'm telling you that at the beginning I told you there is a website SciStarter. So you can visit SciStarter. Then Juniverse. Juniverse is very popular nowadays. So if you visit Juniverse, you will find some websites with all these projects, whichever is going on. You can actually go through all those projects. So these are the two websites where you can get information related to that particular project. And I'm just telling you, this NASA had one data archive. As you are talking about transport, this transport is very popular in our university because we normally, with our own telescope, we regularly monitor this transport experiment. And we also collect data from NASA archive. Everyday data is there. So you can just visit NASA's website. Okay, NASA's website, you will get the data.
Sir, but the problem is how can I handle? I mean, the archive is there, but how can I mining the data and transfer it into a something called information, physical information? I mean, who will teach me that how to do this?
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, because the Citizen Science Forum, which is there, particularly they are doing the work not related to transport, but they are working in the asteroid search campaign, then galaxy classification, then planet hunting. Different some projects are there. So you have to find out a Citizen Science Forum which can help you to actually analyze those images, because right now I cannot suggest you any name who are working with these projects. Probably Shobhan sir is here. He might tell you. But just I'm telling you that whenever you are getting any data from any archive, the first point is that what you want to do with those data. That is very, very important. Suppose transport data is there. Every day you'll get the transport data. Now the question arises, with those transport data, what you want to do? Okay, your objective should be there. Or if you want to play with the data, fine. You can see the data, and every day after 1 month, how transport is moving on the sun disk, that you can study. You can find out the rotation period of the sun through that study. That is there. You can also contact with me. I can also teach you. how to find out the rotation period of sun from the observation of sunspot. That you can do. But remember, sunspot period calculations or the measuring the diameter of the sunspot is not a big issue nowadays. Okay.
So that
So,
is a very typical problem, and everyone is solving this. But sir, that's why I'm asking that uh, mm, how to analyze different things. I mean, uh, I have not very prominent knowledge on astrophysics or solar physics, but how to use those data in um, further information. I mean, what I have no ambition or no very clear concept about what to do with the data. That is a very big problem.
yeah, I can understand. Because see, when you are getting interest in a particular subject or particular topic, the main point is that suppose sun, you are going for study of sun, then you have to have a little knowledge about this sunspot, the evolution, how sunspot actually evolved, and what are the different dynamics associated with the sunspot. These are important part of the your understanding, because until and unless you know about that particular subject, you cannot go more further. Okay. In that case, you need an expert to discuss with you. And particularly, as I told you, that if you want to find out some projects related to your interest, then only you can visit Universe, Science Start, Science Starter, other sites are also there, and go to that particular website and find out what type of uh, citizen science projects are going on in that site. Okay, then you just try to contact with that concerned person, that whether you can participate or not, and if you want to participate, then how that can be done, because nowadays it is not an issue. Online programs are there. They will tell you how to process the data if you are associated with their projects, and you have to attend 2 or 3 lectures session, or more than 2 or 3 lectures. Then you can have information about the projects which you are running. But remember, in that case, you have to visit that particular citizen science projects who are doing these projects. Is it clear? Then they can actually guide you what type of software is needed and what are the requirements, so that you can continue your citizen science project in that particular direction. But remember, choosing a technical project, you have to idea about that particular subject. Otherwise, you cannot go further. Then in that case, it will be a black box, isn't it? It will be a black box. You don't have much idea about the subject, but you are doing like a machine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I always
That's a big
suggest,
difficulty.
exactly. So I always suggest, it's like asteroid search campaign. When I started, hands-on session is there with some software, Astrometrica. But I never start with Astrometrica software. First I tell them what is asteroid, what is the revolutionary period of asteroid, where it is located, why it is very difficult to measure, what are the problems. Then I go to the software part. Because software part is very easy. Nowadays people are technically skilled. So they can actually have all these ideas, but you have to have some basic knowledge about the subject which you are choosing. That's why I suggest you to visit all these sites, which is of your interest. And you can also note down my email ID in case you need any assistance from me. You can contact.
Sir, I will note down. And thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your encouragement.
Thank you. Thank you. So I can see one more question from.
सर सर अभी आपने एक वेबसाइट का नाम बताया था, क्या वो उसकी लिंक आप शेयर कर सकते हैं अगर पॉसिबल हो तो?
आप गूगल में टाइप कीजिए यूनिवर्स, then you get it. Universe you type.
उसको उसको छोड़ के दूसरा स्काई करके ऐसा कुछ नाम था वो
साइज स्टार्टर एक है, यहाँ पे भी आप जा सकते हैं। ठीक है, ये गूगल में करने से आपको मिल जाएगा लिंक। उस लिंक से आप more than 1000 projects are running on in science. Okay, so Prakhar, already I had discussed, my discussion was really based on how to become a citizen scientist. I had already discussed. So to become a citizen, if you join late, then let me tell you that if you want to become a citizen scientist, you join the particular citizen science projects, which are run by different agencies, government agencies, non-government organizations, or you can contact some citizen science group, and they may guide you how to start a citizen science. So any other question?
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है एस्ट्रोनॉमी क्या बोलते हैं यूनिवर्स तो ग्लोबल वार्मिंग इस तरह का या फिर पर्यावरण संबंधित कुछ वो कौन से हो सकते हैं उसके बारे में थोड़ा बता सकते हैं अगर पॉसिबल हो तो।
मैं आपको एक इंडिया बेच है, आपको वेबसाइट मैं लिंक आपको शेयर कर रहा हूँ, आप एक बार देख लीजिए। यहाँ पे आपको बहुत ऐसा रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट आपको मिल जाएगा। ठीक है, ये लिंक आप शेयर कर दीजिए और आप एक बार देख लीजिए।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
मोस्ट वेलकम।
Okay.
So I think no questions are there.
Also, Prakhar, if you haven't, if you joined late, you can also watch the full session on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And so, firstly, thank you for this wonderful presentation and also answering all the questions of all our participants and letting them know more about citizen science projects. I'm sure they will involve them more in citizen science projects. And secondly, I want to thank ACES Citizen Science Group for collaborating with us and helping us in this in organizing this session. And lastly, I would thank all participants for joining us today and successful session for everyone. Thank you, everyone. And lastly, I would request everyone to, if you can, please turn on your cameras so that we can take a picture for our memory. Thank you, everyone, for turning on your camera and helping us in taking the picture. And
thank you, sir. Thank you.
And also, currently, we are organizing a satellite masterclass, which is going on right now. And we will be organizing more masterclasses in future. So don't forget to join those masterclasses if you want to know more about astronomy. And also, we have a regional language session on 2nd of November, which is on black hole and wormholes, and it will be on the Assamese language or Assamia language. So if you understand Assamia, don't forget to join the session. I'm sure it will be very informative. So with that, I think we can end our session here for today. Thank you, everyone.
मेरा एक सवाल है ऑर्गेनाइजर से, क्या मैं पूछ सकता हूँ?
Yeah, sure.
मेरी आपसे एक सलाह है कि आप जितने अभी जो